to a meditative thought to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is held in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. The news media has been notified and a copy of the agenda has been made available to the public. This meeting is open to the public, and the public is welcome to attend in person. All persons wishing to attend the meeting by virtual means may do so via YouTube, Sumter School District Board meetings, and Sumter School District Facebook page. The vision for this district is the Sumter School District is committed to educating, empowering, and enriching the lives of all students to reach their full potential. Our mission, Sumter School District, is committed to providing a safe, nurturing, and high-quality educational environment that supports diversity and equips students for local and global success. Members of this board include Bonnie S. Disney, Esquire, who represents Area 9, our Vice Chair, Sean T. Reagan, Area 5, our Clerk, Sherry White, Area 7, our Parliamentarian, Daniel Palumbo, Area 1, Brittany English, Area 2, Tara Johnson, Area 4, Matthew McLeod, Area 6, Jeff Zell, Area 8, Denise Jones, Shore Air Force Base Representative. Our superintendent is Dr. William T. Wright, Jr., and the administrative manager to the superintendent and the board of trustees is Ms. Shante Scott. Of course, I'm Ralph Candy, and I serve as chair, and I represent Area 3. It is my pleasure to call this meeting to order, and the agenda is up for approval. If there are no objections, the printed agenda shall stand. Objections once, twice, 3 times, the agenda is approved. Item 3, special presentations. Office of Academics.
Mr. Chair, members of the Board of Trustees, at this time I'm asking Dr. Jada McLeod to come forward along with Dr. Lamont Moore. We have several students that have done some excellent work in our district, and we are looking forward to celebrating their success tonight by having them receive some awards.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Canty, Vice Chair Disney, Superintendent Wright, members of the board, and our Sumter community. This evening, I bring to you greetings from the Office of Academics. Our office is here to share 2 recent academic accomplishments and recognize our students, staff, and volunteers involved in these activities. Our first recognition is for the students earning the designation of 2022-23 South Carolina Junior Scholars, and that'll be followed by our STEAM Challenge. At this time, I will turn the presentation for Junior Scholars over to Dr. Moore, Director of Testing and Accountability, and he will be followed by Richard Phillips, the Coordinator of Science, Social Studies, PE Health, Fine Arts, and STEM, and he will assist me in awarding the STEAM Challenge recognitions.
Thank you, Dr. McLeod, and good evening to our board members. We are excited to recognize those students who have performed very well and have received the state recognition for being a Junior Scholar. So I do want to read a little bit about the Junior Scholars Program. It was developed by the South Carolina Department of Education during the 1985-86 school year to provide for the needs of students possessing exceptional academic talent. The program includes a process for screening potential talent pool of students, identifying and recognizing these students who have exceptionally high scholastic achievement and intellectual ability, and sponsoring these students for summer opportunities in collaboration with participating South Carolina colleges, universities, and the Governor's School for Science and Math. Students who receive this recognition have to be public school students or private school or homeschool within the state. They have to score a 550 or higher on the evidence-based reading and writing subtest of the PSAT, or a score of 530 or higher on the math subtest of the PSAT. These are 8th grade students and who have taken the PSAT in our schools. Sumter School District has 21 8th grade students who have been recognized by the South Carolina Department of Education for the Junior Scholars Program, and tonight we will recognize and celebrate these students. So students and families, when each name is called, the students or school representatives will come up to receive certificates for recognition. We're going to start with Alice Drive Middle School. And our first recipient from Alice Drive Middle is Elizabeth Davis. And just a disclaimer, we do have some students who are on trips today, and we have some concerts going on, so we will have a representative from Alice Drive to receive the award for the students. Also from Alice Drive Middle, Kaylin Duenas. Next, we have Catherine Gertner. And next, we have Katie Gertner. Corbin Inbody. Nien Sang Jiang. Deshaun Jones. Carter Lee. Catherine Marzano. Anthony Lynn. Paisley McDougall. Christina Mazniaguda. Kylie Pachucci. David Vizcarra. Cooper Ziegler. And Sarah Bronner. We're going to move on to Bates Middle School. We have 2 junior scholars. The first one is Julia Bodie. And also from Bates, Richard Disney. From Furman Middle School, we have 1 junior scholar, Abigail Klein. From Hillcrest Middle School, we have 2 junior scholars. The first one is Madeline Reese. Also from Hillcrest Middle, William Evans.
Good evening, Chairman Canty, Vice Chairman Disney, Superintendent Wright, members of the board, Sumter community stakeholders. I appear before you to brief you on the recent 2023 Manufacturers Expo and Sumter Invitational STEAM Challenge, as well as to present the Sumter School District and Sumter community members who contributed to the overwhelming success of this event completed on April 28, 2023. As I present, we have some slides behind you where you can see the students at the event. So, as is common practice in education and in the Office of Academics, we begin with the end in mind. In other words, the objective. In the 2022 Academic School Renewal Plan, our goal in Focus Area 3 reads, by the end of the 2027 school year, 100% of Sumter School District students will have access to innovative and rigorous educational opportunities that prepare them to be college and or career ready. This includes opportunities for our students to meet the growing demands of careers that utilize science, technology, engineering, and math careers, also known as STEM, or STEAM when we incorporate art. These are life-changing, high-paying careers that are largely unfilled every year. Overall, since 1990, employment in STEM occupations has grown 79%, increasing from 9.7 million to 17.3 million, and is projected to grow annually at a rate of 8% through 2029. The first step in positioning our students to acquire these STEAM careers is for them to know about them. The second step is for the students to develop world-class skills contained within the profile of the South Carolina graduate, which inform success in these careers. Those skills are creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration and teamwork, communication, information, media, and technology, and knowing how to learn. The 6th Annual Manufacturers Expo and the 2nd Annual Sumter Invitational STEAM Challenge combined this year in 2023 to meet the objectives of informing middle school students of local STEM careers and providing them with opportunities to practice their world-class skills in an innovative format at the Central Carolina Technical College Advanced Manufacturing Technology Training Center. Every Sumter School District middle school provided a team of 20 students equally divided between 7th and 8th grade students. Lee Central Middle School was invited but was unable to attend this year. In total, 160 middle school students were invited to participate in the 2023 event. The event was facilitated concurrently with the Manufacturers Expo. The 7th grade students competed in a Science Olympiad style competition, which included five events representing science, technology, engineering, art, and math, while the 8th grade students explored interactive STEAM activities related to STEM careers, facilitated by local manufacturers such as Coca-Cola, Continental Tire, Caterpillar, and Thompson Construction. After lunch, the 7th and 8th grade students switched areas to assure all students experienced the challenge and expo activities. Scores were collected based on the results posted by the 7th and 8th grade students for each school in the Science Olympiad events. Every student received a certificate signed by our superintendent, Dr. William Wright, and the students from the top 3 performing schools were awarded medals. The first place school will receive tonight the traveling trophy to keep until the next competition in March 2024. Representatives from the top scoring schools are here tonight and will come forward to be recognized as I call the schools. So beginning with the third place team, R.E. Davis College Preparatory Academy, represented by Miss Anita Hunter and Science Department Chair Miss Keonia Davis. The second place team was from Chestnut Oaks Middle School and is represented by Principal Miss Janae Edwards, Assistant Principal Miss Floydine McLeod, Science Department Chair Crystal Tisdale. And the first place finisher for the second year in a row, Furman Middle School. Principal, Mr. Michael Riggins, could not be with us, so we have Miss Jessica Merritt, Assistant Principal, with Science Department Chair Miss Octavia Green, and 6th grade science teacher, and she also drove the school bus there, Miss Ashley Kappelman. Oh, sorry, and Mr. Anderson. Brought the whole team. Of course, an event of this magnitude could not be possible without the hard work of a lot of people behind the scenes. So we would like to thank the following groups for supporting this annual event. First, we have service members from Shaw Air Force Base who assisted with the setup and the facilitation of the events. In total, 10 service members volunteered to assist with the event. A few of them are with us tonight and will come forward to be recognized as I call their names. Mr. Brandon Lamar, 20th FW Public Affairs. And you have a picture there of the group. Mr. Lamar was the point of contact at Shaw Air Force Base for this event. Next, we have Senior Airman Edwin Stadsvold, 20th Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit. And next we have Airman First Class Thomas Clark, 20th Civil Engineer Detachment. There are many others who could not be with us here tonight, but we will pass the certificates on to them. In the lead up to the competition, we received many offers from various groups of service members who wish to partner with us to provide STEM opportunities to all of our students throughout the year. We welcome their partnerships going forward. Next, we sincerely thank our sponsors. Our sponsors included the Link, Sumter Economic Development, South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, the Sumter Trophy Shop, DRD Photography, and Coca-Cola. Through their contributions, our students all received shirts color-coded for their school, a nice lunch, and a swag bag. So they were very excited. Kids love swag. And last but not least, we thank the following Sumter School District stakeholders who worked many hours to assure this was a positive experience that will inform the college and career readiness of our students. The district leadership team, a special shout out to Mr. Myers and Transportation Department for making sure the buses were able to get there. That is a large chore these days, and it went off seamlessly. Office of Academics team, and this was a total team effort. The middle school career specialist led by Ms. Linda Thomas, our Sumter School District Career Readiness Coordinator, under the direction of Dr. David Laws, our Director of Career and Technical Education. At this time, I'm happy to entertain any questions from the board. Thank you all.
Thank you so very much. Let's give them all a great big hand, okay? Ladies and gentlemen of the board, as we move to the next item of the agenda, item 4, public participation, I have reviewed the number of persons who have registered to appear before us tonight, and the number exceeds the time that we have allocated for public participation. Hence, I'd like to recommend, as I did last month, that we extend the time and allow each one of the persons who plan to appear before us 2 minutes rather than 3 minutes to allow everyone to speak. What is the pleasure of the board? Those who agree, could you indicate with a show of hands so we're together on that? Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. So we will allot 2 minutes to each one of our participants, including those who have submitted electronic presentations. Thank you very much. We're delighted to have each of you with us tonight. Would like to remind us all of the decorum of the House, and protocol requires that we always address the chair and never speak to any particular person. You can speak to a situation, but not to a person. All right? Thank you very much. We will now hear from from J.P. Riley.
Good afternoon, Dr. Canning, board members. I was going to have a hard time getting it in at 3, and now I got to get it in at 2. I electronically sent it to all the board members so that you could review it afterwards. My first point is, why are you important to the county beyond the students? Successful schools make Sumter attractive to business and families. Our military community are all transients, and they have to pick a place to live. And the school districts are a big part of that. Companies moving in are a big part of that. Businesses equal jobs, jobs equal opportunity, and also income for the state or the county. Rep. Smith held a economic forum at Central Carolina last week. In that forum, they kind of declared that South Carolina is open for business. We're doing great. Businesses really, really want to come here. Sumter County, not so much. We've had one company come here, and that's going to be this Chinese solar factory that's going to open up on the south side of town, bring 200 jobs. So businesses have a choice of where to locate. Families have a choice of where to relocate. We want them to relocate to Sumter. We want this to be a big part of that. So I was going to go into policy. It's there. I think you guys need to review your policies from the top to the bottom and review them and look at what they mean in terms of actual actionable things. The mission statement of an organization articulates exactly what that organization is going to do. And the vision statement says, how are we going to do that? What's the most important role of the board in all of this is policy. That's what you do. You're a policy apparatus for the school. I think the South Carolina graduate is a very important part of that. Keep going past because he's wanting to it. So I gave each of you an example of incomplete work in the board policy. For you today, you're supposed to be reviewing this IHAC policy. And I presented you with exactly, give me 1 second.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Riley, your time is up. Giovanna Dees.
Hi, my name is Giovanna Diaz. I live in Renberg, South Carolina. My son is seven years old. He attends Rafting Creek Elementary School. A couple of weeks ago, I found out that our principal, Mr. Wells, may be relocated to another school. And I just wanted to say that he is a very important part of my son's life. He's very involved with him. He knows him by name. He reads with him. He has been a great influence in his life. And he has done a lot of things in the school. The school is looking a lot better. I know the test scores have gone up. I don't know a lot about that, but maybe other people do. But I know he's not done with Rafting Creek Elementary School. So I would like for him to stay. I know there's different things that have to go on. Maybe it's a better opportunity for him, but me and my son, we would love for him to stay there. He's always there in the morning. He's present, not just present, I would say he's involved. If it's raining, he's out there. If it's hot, if it's cold, for him to tell the kids, have a good day, have a good weekend. In the morning, he's giving high fives. You will see him receiving the kids in the bus. He is there. I have also a 12-year-old, and we have gone through a lot of principals in different schools. I really don't remember any other principal doing that. I'm sure they were busy, I'm sure they were doing other things. But Mr. Wells is there for my son, for me in the morning. He has met the grandparents, me and my husband. He always has time. So I wouldn't like for him to go if there's a possibility that he can stay at Rafting Creek Elementary School. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Victor Soseda? Yes, sir. Yeah. Please forgive me for not getting it quite right.
Good afternoon, President, board members. I was reading through policy. I know Mr. J.P. Morgan already mentioned it, and it does need to be revised from top to bottom. Policy AC, equality. Then I run into policy ACB, educational equity. Equity is the idea of separating groups of students separate based on many different factors to include racial or ethnic groups. How can you reconcile separating students into groups to policy AC, which is equality, providing all students equal access to all resources and assets and efforts? Now, what I want to know is, this policy says targets resources and efforts. What resources? What efforts? Is that made public? Is that on the website? I haven't found anything. Now, this was adopted back in August of 21. So it's been in place for a while. It says the superintendent makes that decision. How do we as stakeholders know what resources are being taken from one student or groups and favoring another? Because that goes against policy AC, which is equality, equal access to all efforts and all resources to all students within the district. So I would like to see the policies completely revised from top to bottom. And I think we owe it to the students to not separate them and then talk about, oh, we have a policy about equality. That does not reconcile, not with this policy here. That's my time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Horace Spann?
I'm here representing the Rafting Creek community, and I want to share with you that this is the first time that I've had to come to the board. We normally ask and we work things out in our community, but we want Mr. Wells to stay in place. He has not been there long enough. Our school needs that leadership. It's not just about the man, it's about the leadership, and we've been striving for that leadership for years. We finally got a good person, and the board, as I'm talking to you, wants to take them away. And we would like for him to stay and work with our students, and we want you to know that we feel certain that you're setting us up for failure. We fought to get our school last year, and now every one of you are setting us up for failure. You're going to take that school and send all of our children to all of these other schools. And we want Mr. Wells to stay, and that's our plan. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Spann. This is Marie Sanders.
Good evening to everyone. I'm Pastor Marie Sanders.
Yeah,
and-
I apologize. I didn't realize that was you,
Sorry.
Pastor Sanders.
That's
please
all right.
excuse me.
I live in the community of Rafting Creek Elementary School, and I came as a community member to represent the school. And as Dr. Spann said, we all would like for Mr. Wells to remain at the school because we went through so much to keep the school. So we want to say that what's not broken, we shouldn't try to fix it. Everything is going good, and so we are so grateful and thankful for the progress of the school, the success of the school, the good things that are going on at the school. And we had some of the past struggles with Rafton Preschool, and now everything is going good. So we would like for him to remain if it was possible. The school has been doing good. It was a great turnaround for the school. And so as a community member, our concerns about the administrative change to the school is we were hoping that he would remain. But we don't want to take anything from him, but we sure fighting for our school to continue to progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Ms. Bridget Bradley.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bridget Bradley. I teach second grade at Rafton Creek Elementary School. I have a few text messages from a few people that are outside your door to make sure I do not forget. We are concerned about our principal leaving. He's been there for 2 years, and we've been looking for a male principal, not saying that females cannot do the job, but we want him to stay with us. We have seen progress in our children. Like Mrs. Diaz said, he's always in the classroom with us. He'll come and check on us on a day-to-day basis. One incident in particular, the preschool, the little people, they blocked the door so he couldn't get out. They didn't realize that he could go out the back door. So everybody loves Mr. Wells. We would like for him to stay there so that our scores can continue to go up. It is a community there in the school, not only outside the school, but inside the school as well. We love him. We love what he do for our children. I am a migrant to the state of South Carolina. My home is Mississippi. I'm there because of choice. I have 3 college graduates that came out of Crestwood High School, and I'm staying here because of the kids.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bradley. I thought I had another one, but look like I don't have, okay? We do have the electronic ones.
Good evening. We have 2 electronic submissions for public participation. The first is from Lenore Jackson. I volunteered with the voter registration office in 2022 during the primaries, and the poll I was assigned to was F.J. Delane Elementary School. There were many people who came through the school to vote. I cannot understand why it would be an issue to allow the public to tour the school. Additionally, during my time serving as a poll worker, it was not lost on me the impact the school had on the community. Countless individuals who came to vote, as well as those who were working at the polls, had fond memories of either a student, teacher, administrator, or friend of the school in some way. It was evident F.J. Delane was a staple in the community and joined the community and families in a way that impacted them significantly. I wonder what the school district thinks the legacy of this community is worth and the price tag it should be sold for. It's sad that the community has been relegated to this form of discrimination. The second is from Ms. Jacqueline Hughes. Recently, I heard something that I hope is not true, or perhaps I misunderstood the way it was portrayed. That comment was that twice as many black students come up for disciplinary reasons than white students. That comment made me wonder, if it is indeed true, then why is it true? Could someone examine these statistics to find out why it is true and report back to us the results of those findings? Then I wondered, well, maybe there are twice as many black students than white students enrolled in the Sumter County system. Then I wondered if perhaps black students were rebelling against what I call the disciplinary code, or perhaps classroom rules, or maybe the dress code, I'm not sure what to call it, more than white students. Then I realized that perhaps I would never know the truth unless I came before the board with this question that only the board can answer. Next, I wonder when the Sumter County School Board is going to do a much-needed realignment. I found out in March 2023 that students from the John Franklin Road area are going to Lakewood High School. That means they are nearly passing Sumter High School to get to Lakewood High School. With the price of gas, it doesn't make sense to send them an additional approximately 4.6 miles. According to Google Maps, the shortest route is 21 minutes and 13 miles to Lakewood High School, compared to 14 minutes and 8.4 miles to Sumter High School. That's an additional 7 minutes and 4.6 miles times 2. According to old math that I learned, that amounts to 14 minutes and 9.2 miles more a day, or 5 days a week, 1 hour and 10 minutes more, and 46 miles more per week. My kind of rational thinking doesn't think that makes sense. So could you look into when we can start realignment for our school district? Maybe it could solve some of the problems with our school bus system. It might save some time and cut down on our fuel expenses. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much. To all of our public speakers tonight, please know that your presence here and your comments have not gone unnoticed, and you will receive correspondence from the board in 10 days or so in response to your presence here tonight. Thank you so very much for coming. Item 5, executive session.
Chairman Canty, is it time for that motion?
Hmm?
I move that we enter into executive session for the discussion of individual student matters, transfers in and out of district, monthly personnel report, discussion of compensation, employment, release, transfer of certified and classified employees, and procurement requests.
You've heard the motion and its second. Is there any discussion? Are there any objections? Objections once, twice, 3 times? We shall enter into executive session. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we will not be gone long. We invite you to stay. However, if you cannot, then
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a couple announcements.
yes, sir.
First, I appreciate the time to speak. I want to thank the district as well as Sumter High, Principal Sandor for working with Ms. Griswood on establishing the archery club that we heard about last board meeting. They're spinning that up, and it should be we should be hearing good things relatively soon regarding that. Secondly, I'd like to thank Liberty Steam Charter for inviting me to a walkthrough to read to their children last week. And excuse me, sir, could we address the disruptions in the room, please? I'm trying to speak here. Thank you very much. Finally, I would like to thank Principal Dantzler of Manchester Elementary, all the way out in Pinewood, for showing me around and highlighting all the great things that they're doing out there. And actually, lastly, I'd like to thank Mr. Todd of the Fort Mill District for hosting Miss Disney and I, showing us around, showing us, what their successes in security and safety. And I would love to, they give us some good information. I would love to share that with staff in the future. So a lot of good lessons learned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mis-
Are there any other reports?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say thank you to the Teacher Forum. They put on a great event, and congratulate all the nominees for the Teachers of the Year that are coming up, and to congratulate all the teachers that were out there. And the other thing, just want to congratulate the soccer team for Crestwood High School. They went the furthest out of all the high schools this year, and they went 10-0. It was the second year they won their division, their region, and they went advanced to the second round. sorry they didn't make it, but that's just want to reach out and say congratulations to them, and hopefully for their future too, for the next couple of years.
Mr. Chair, I would like to say thank you to all of the district staff that was instrumental in helping to have a very successful Relay for Life event. I guess a couple of Fridays ago. Very well-attended event. I guess it could have been more people, but very well-attended event, and kudos to the staff for a job done well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any others? All right, thank you very much. Committee reports, if any, tonight?
Mr. Chairman, I have a report from the Policy Committee. These policies were brought before the board once before, and now they're being brought for discussion for the board with the recommended changes. Now that the board has had time to look at them, if it's the board's pleasure, we can review each one, however you would like to do that. It's my understanding that you, based on the procedure, we present to you our proposed changes. When the board discusses and agrees on those, then the language is actually written in, and it'll go on to second reading. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So with your permission, we can look at the policy IHAC. And the only recommended change, as we saw before, and it's highlighted in red, is we thought that it might be beneficial to add U.S. Constitution to the list. Although it is mandated in state law, the committee thought it important that that be specified. It's not absolutely necessary, but it was a recommendation.
Question?
We will actually deal with the report on the action items, okay? Now, if you need to explain anything else
Okay.
about the report, you may
Okay,
continue.
we will
You can
explain
just
it, and then you
continue.
can, okay.
Yes.
That's the only one in that one. Okay? In the organization of the board, again, this was pre-approved, the language, I think, by the board before it was looked at and recommended. This language came down from from SCASBA to add the parliamentarian language, and so that has been put in here, and we can discuss that at the proper time. And the other one, we were striking the face covering policy, and the board powers and the district goals and objectives were all boilerplate, and we can discuss them at the proper time.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. All right. Okay. 2023 SCASB Officers Board of Directors nomination. Is there a nomination that this board would like to submit for this year's conference?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Dr. Sean Reagan as our representative.
I second the nomination.
It's motion and second that Sean Reagan will be nominated by our board for regional representative on SCASB. Is that the right position? Okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor will indicate Can we do that with the hands?
We're going to vote in section.
Okay, all right, all right. We just got the nomination before us now. All right. Thank you very much. All right. All right, thank you. 7.4, SCASB proposals, 2023-24 legislative resolution or amendments, which is before us, and the 7.5, you have on board docs the board meeting calendar for 23-24. All right. Mr. Superintendent, we're down to item 8, your report.
I'll wait for an adjustment there. Thank you. All right. Mr. Chair, members of the Board of Trustees, I'd like to go over a couple of things, and I'd like to start by taking a personal point of privilege to illustrate policy GCK, which addresses professional staff assignments and transfers. The purpose of that policy is to establish the basic structure for the transfer and assignment of professional staff in the district. And I'd like to point our attention to a sentence that is located in the middle of the policy, about halfway down, simply one sentence. The superintendent is authorized to reassign personnel in the best interests of the district. And now on to the rest of the superintendent's report around the district. Celebration of Excellence. The Sumter School District Teacher Forum hosted the Celebration of Excellence on last Thursday. Congratulations go out to our finalists for District Teacher of the Year, Siobhan Richardson from Crestwood High School, Kyle Austin from Sumter High School, and Kelly Howard from High Hills Elementary. At this event, the Sumter Teacher Forum awarded scholarships for future educators to seniors who attend college in the fall and plan to major in education. Angelina Roach from Crestwood High School received a $1,000 scholarship, and Shania Brown from Lakewood High School received a $1,500 scholarship. Also, Paisley Williams from Crestwood High School received a $3,000 Haley Bordeaux Memorial Scholarship for future educators. Teacher Appreciation Week. As we celebrate Teacher Appreciation Week, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for the hard work and dedication our teachers put into this profession each and every day. Your unwavering commitment to the success of our students is truly inspiring. Thank you for all you do, and your contributions are immeasurable and greatly appreciated. And in terms of an additional recognition or two, congratulations to IB juniors Chloe Miller, Olin Towery, and Jada Atkins for being accepted into Quest Bridge. Students accepted into this nonprofit college match and scholarship program must be in the top 5 to 10% of their class and demonstrate that they are taking the most challenging classes offered at their school and earning A's in all of those classes. Also, Mackenzie DeBose, who is a senior at Sumter High School, was named the state runner-up at the 2023 American Legion South Carolina Department H.W. Dare Mains High School Oratorical Program Competition. Can't say that fast 3 times. At St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Columbia. The public speaking competition serves to develop a deeper knowledge and appreciation of the Constitution of the United States. Other contest objectives include the development of leadership skills, the ability to think and speak clearly and intelligently, and the preparation for acceptance of the duties and responsibilities, the rights, privileges of American citizenship. Also, congratulations go to students Ebony Isaac and Tyrick Hunter for being recognized as outstanding middle school youth by the Evening Optimist Club of Sumter. These two students showcase their R.E. Davis Viking pride daily and are well deserving of this award. Last but not least, Alice Drive Middle School Hawk Emma Aug was the winner of the middle school division for the University of South Carolina Sumter Spring Poetry Contest. She received a certificate, a gift card, and USC Sumter merchandise. Way to go. We're proud of the amazing accomplishments of our students and staff at the Sumter School District. And for this May 8th, 2023, Mr. Chair, members of the Board of Trustees, that is the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do you want to say anything about 8.2?
Yes, sir. Be glad to. Thank you for that opportunity, Mr. Chair. 8.2 is a mandate from the state of South Carolina regarding an opportunity for districts to provide unencumbered time for teachers at the tune of about 30 minutes per day, in which they have to be unencumbered and prepare for learning and things of that nature. It is required, it is a requirement forthcoming beginning in the 2023-2024 school year for all South Carolina public school districts to engage in ensuring that teachers are provided unencumbered time. So that is the policy on the floor. The recommendation is for approval at this time. Yes, sir.
Thank you. And do you want to call from the Spiller? Do you have a report?
That'll be fine. Yes, sir.
Which is the next item.
At this time, I'd like to have the greatest CFO in the state of South Carolina come forth to present item 8.3, Mrs. Shatika Spearman.
Good evening, board members. I hope I don't run out of money for Dr. Wright when I pay him to say that. I have a small cough, so please excuse me. I am sitting before you to present to you the financial activity as of April 2023 for Sumter School District. As far as the local revenue of monies received, we received about 85% of the local revenue that we expect. As you can see, one point of interest that I want to bring to your attention is the interest on investments. As you can see, in years past, we've made a very conservative estimate of what that is. And so we have noticed that that line has actually taken in a lot more than what that estimate, that conservative estimate has been. And that is due to the interest earned on our bonds and all of that. So we will definitely look at that line during the budget process that we're deeply in right now. As you can also see, I want to make the board to know that there are 3 pots of revenue that we collect that we cannot do estimates for. Those are rentals, refunds of prior year expenditures, and receipt of insurance. There is really no way to make an estimate on how much we would receive. So we normally show those as items of receipt once we receive them, but we don't budget those. As it relates to our state revenue, we've collected about 45% of that. Of course, as you know, the state takes our revenue for most of those lines, and they chop it up into 12, 13 pieces, and they send it monthly. And so for most of those line items, as you can see, we've received about 45% of those funds. And within this money, there are items of Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 funds that we don't receive until the end of the year. And so those will remain unreceived until the very end of the year. And that's when most of our monies for that line will come in. As it relates to the federal revenue, we have one line of revenue that we've collected, about $280,000. I was just notified tonight that we have received, we'll be receiving another $81,000. So that is the applications and the forms that we do for our military families. And so to date, when we receive that money in post, the next report will show about $360,000 of that collected. So that was a good estimate. Our indirect cost, for those grants that we have a line item where we can claim indirect cost, overhead or whatever, because we're maintaining those grants. We're at about $674,000, and we estimate about 1.2 million to claim on that. So as a total, to date, we've collected about $80 million, which represents about 54.57% of our expected revenue. As it relates to our expenditures, we have one line of note that I want to show the board is the variance number 3 for our audit services. Our audit service estimate was low because we had additional federal programs that met a certain threshold that our auditors had to audit. And so that caused an additional fee to be charged based on the number of federal eligible programs that we had that met threshold. So that is why that has increased. And so as we go through our budget, we notice also that we've had some Kelly Services is in the line of 311 for our instructional services. It's kind of showing an increased percentage because of the fact that the teachers, of our shortage of teachers. And so that is why that line is out. So to date, we've spent about $97 million of our expected expenditures. Of course, our revenue will catch up near as we go to the end of the year, and that represents about 66% of our expenditure budget expended. If we were to stop operations right now, we would have a negative impact on our fund balance. It would drop from 41.6 to 40.3 if we were to stop operations today. Again, of course, we do expect a lot more of our revenue to come in as we go. Are there any questions regarding our financial statement?
Mr. Chair, I have a quick question. Just real quick, we're about to graduate. We're going into graduation season. Will we see a drop off in expenditures over the summer?
Well, as far as salaries, we won't. That'll be because we chop that up so that teachers will have funding or receive funds over the summer.
I'm talking day-to-day O&M, operation and maintenance type fund.
Well, you may see a little less because the bodies aren't in the buildings, but there will still be things that we do. Actually, I know that Mr. Myers can speak to that. That is when operations maintenance does a lot of their catch-up or repair or what have you. It's my understanding. And so it may not be as much as the day-to-day. Right.
Appreciate that, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
If I could, I have a question. And I suppose you're just going to have to educate me because I'm not figuring this out. I've watched these financial reports for, a couple of times here, and I don't see something that puzzles me. I know when we have football games at any of the schools, I know that there is income coming into our schools. And I know I think one of the high schools doesn't have a booster club. I think it used to be the booster club would handle much of that. I'm curious as to how much money comes in, where it is, how is it accounted, is it audited? In other words, how do we know that all that money is safe and secure somewhere and being reinvested in, let's say, football fields or whatever? I don't understand why I can't see that revenue, and not just football, you know, we pay for other games too.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. You are not to see that because that is not under the authority of this board to govern that. Where it lies is in the pupil activity funds. Those are separate, self-sufficient operating accounts that are audited. When the money comes in, we have a system where we can get the monies directly deposited into our account, and the schools have an account number, and they have a tally. So the schools know how much game revenue they have, and they're able to use that for their expenses related to that. Our mission and our purpose for the district is to make sure that those funds are used for the purpose intended. That's what auditors come in to evaluate.
Okay,
So
so
we
it,
have a bunch of pupil activity
Okay.
accounts for
right.
different activities at every single school.
so
And
at
there-
this level, Dr. Wright has access to that.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
yes.
Okay, are there any other questions? If not, thank you very much, Ms. Spellman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item 9, action required, 9.1.
Mr. Chairman, I would make the motion to approve the procurement request that we received.
I second that motion.
It's motion and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, you may vote your conviction. All right. It is reported that the vote was unanimous and it passes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
a motion to approve the monthly personnel report presented for May 8th, 2023. Oh, was it? I thought it was 92.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to adjust salary of employee A.
Chair, I second that
Motion
motion.
and seconded. Is there any discussion of that item? If there is no discussion, you may vote your pleasure. All right. All right. The vote is unanimous. It passes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjust the salary of employee B.
I second.
The motion is supported. Is there any discussion? If there is no discussion, you may proceed to vote. All right. The vote again is unanimous. It passes.
Mr. Chair, I motion to approve the monthly personnel report as presented in May 8th, 2023.
I second.
You heard the motion, and it is supported. Is there any discussion? If there is no discussion, you may proceed to vote. What'd you say? All right, the vote is unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make the motion to nominate Dr. Sean Reagan as our representative on the SCASBA Officer and Board of Directors.
Mr. Chair, I second that motion.
Motion is made and is supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, you may vote your pleasure.
Mr. Chair,
Hold on.
District Attorney.
Huh?
Please proceed.
Have a little technical breakdown here. The vote is unanimous, it passes.
All right, Mr. Chair, I would now like to make a motion to accept, reject, amend, add 2023, 2024 legislative resolutions or amendments.
Was it-
I second.
The motion is supported. Is there any discussion? We may proceed to the vote. All right, it's unanimous. Passes. Nine point four.
9.5.
9 point, did we miss?
We just did 4.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the board approves
That's
the 2023-2024 board meeting calendar as presented.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I second that motion.
Motion is made and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, you may proceed to the vote. It's unanimous. Passes.
Mr. Chairman, I would make the motion that the board approve the policy changes as recommended in the documents.
I second that motion.
Motion and seconded that policies submitted by Policies and Procedures, that the changes be so made. You've heard the motion and it is supported. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Just, is there any discussion? I recognize, is there any other?
let
All right.
Mr.
All
Reagan.
right. And, okay. Okay. Now you may proceed. Just want to see whether we had any others. Okay.
He has a discussion point.
Yeah. Now I'm saying you can proceed.
Yes, sir, it was me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I just have a question. Policy BBA, and I guess this relates to the members of the policy committee. There's some language in here that I think that the board should be very careful when we consider changing these policies. And for policy BBA-R, I think the policy committee reviewed this particular policy, and from my understanding, the language as it relates to board members visiting district schools during the school day will inform the principal or the principal's representative, but it goes down a little further in that paragraph, and then it states that advance notice to the superintendent or other officials is not required. I take issue with that at this particular time, and I think that this board needs to consider that simply because we want to make sure that as a board we are properly following protocol, and we wouldn't want nobody to go up in our house and disrupt it and come unannounced. So as board members, what I'm thinking is that I believe that we can show respect and common courtesy when going into the schools, and it doesn't take anything to call the superintendent as we've done in the past, or notify our board manager when we are trying to visit schools, because at the end of the day, these folk are very busy. Schools in itself from a day-to-day operation is very busy. So I just wanted to bring that and let the board know, and the policy committee, is that I'm not in support of it, because I think we should be required to give a prior notice, and so that should not be taken out. And one more for policy BDR, as it relates to the organization of the board. In this particular policy, as I was reading, there's a lot of strike, or we expelled a whole lot of bullet points as it relates to the chair, just to create, I guess, a position for the parliamentary. And I think this board is very much so aware of the fact that I probably was the only board member that voted against the parliamentary position. However, I just wanted to bring to this board's attention, at this time, expelling all of those bullet points and taking away the duties that belongs to the chair can later cause a few issues, in my opinion. And if we elect a chair to serve, certainly we should not take the duties and responsibilities, treating our chair or whomever to come to be the chair as if they are incompetent or lack the traits thereof to lead this board and to guide this board. So there was a issue that I have with the parliamentary portion of this as it relates to the seating of the parliamentary as well. So I'm just asking that the policy, I know this is first reading and discussion time, and if I have to, I can bring it up again, but I'm just asking that the policy committee really consider looking back at these two particular policies as we continue the readings on these particular policies. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, may I address a couple of those issues during discussion?
Okay.
A lot of that language came from SCASBA for the position of parliamentarian. That was not our language. That was language provided by SCASBA for the parliamentarian position. Those are traditionally those different roles. So we used their language in that. And so items that had traditionally fallen under the heading of chair, there was no disrespect made. These were suggestions from SCASBA for the parliamentarian position, and therefore, when it applied to a parliamentarian, it was struck from the chairman's position. No disrespect was intended at all. It's just the historical context of parliamentarian is what was used. Now, of course, it is the board's pleasure, and the parliamentarian seating, that came from SCASBA. That was just straight from them. And all of this has to go back through SCASBA as well. So, the seating, I think, is kind of an irrelevant matter, but it came from them and we chose not to omit it. As far as the notice about visits to the district, that came from after input from a lot of the teachers actually within the district. That express concern, they want us to just drop in. And so we thought we would throw that in there as for that one visit that we're saying that we should make to each school, then that one should have notice. But other ones, we could drop in, and that was from input from around the district.
Okay.
Just context.
Sir,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Hold on a second. Let me hear somebody I have not heard. I'll come back to you, please. All right.
Ms. Scott, if you could pull up policy, I think it's BBA, all the way at the top, where it says board members will. I think that should stay should. Make annual visits to each school in their respective areas. I don't think we can mandate that people go in there. I mean, I know most of us go and visit the schools, but I don't think we can mandate and say, you will do this.
Okay.
Am I?
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sean, I'm back to you.
Yes, sir. To go back to Ms. White's comment with the teachers, I'm not sure, that would be, I guess, relevant to the current situation because, I understand teachers want you to visit. However, have you all had that discussion with principals or at this particular point? Or
We did actually hear that from principals and teachers. That spontaneous visit, now not every single one, but we did have the input, so we put it in here for the purpose of discussion.
Mr. Chair.
Madam?
The only thing I'm thinking about, and I was a classroom teacher, what if one day 6 people show up in my classroom extemporaneously? Which one do I kick out? No. If all 6 are there, I'm not going to say, I'm sorry, folks, y'all can't come to my classroom. And then you would have a quorum. And too many people in one room. So I think we need a system for making sure we know how many people are going to show up that day.
right, and that system is currently in place with the current policy that we have, which is to give notification to our superintendent and our board manager.
Okay. All right. If I might add to the conversation, I'm a bit anxious about, well, I'm more anxious about policy here than anything else. And I think as a board, we must be extremely careful to stay in our lane. We are the policy makers. We are not the day-to-day operational managers of the district. So going in and out of the schools, while I understand teachers will say to us, and have said to me, you need to just show up and see what's going on out here. there is a protocol, a decorum, an order. And I pray that we would guard that order and stay in our lane as it relates to the policy and procedure we use for visiting schools. What if they are in the midst of testing? What if they're in the midst of a fire drill? So many things could be going on, and they do not need us to interrupt the process. So I would ask that we give some consideration to that. My other concern is one expressed by Brother Mac McLeod. I don't know that we can mandate that board members go to schools. They should go to schools. We should go to schools. But I don't know that we can mandate it. Because if they don't go, then what do we do? What's the consequence if you don't go? What's the rule?
Mr. Chair.
Are you removed from the board if you don't go? I mean, that's another one I have. And then finally, I have been thinking about this for a while, and I want to ask us to, I don't want to be combative. I want to say that in terms of our core values and beliefs, I think we need them, we need them in place. But I think our core values and brief need to be concise and precise. They ought to be values that students and teachers and administrators and board members and parents can all grab hold to and remember day by day. Our values are honesty. Our values are love, diligence, devotion, things that we can just put our hands on and not a page and a half of wording that no one will remember, and that may conflict between values and goals. I think we're running into some of that here.
Mr. Chair, if you would like, with the pleasure of the board, of course, we presented what we got from SCASBA. If this board wants our own refined core values and goals, that is totally doable. Again, we're presenting, they're dumping on us right now. So we're presenting what they gave to us, and this is the discussion in which we can refine it. So if that is how the board's pleasure, then we can definitely work on refining that. Again, this was SCASBA's recommendation, but Sumter School District can refine for our own purposes.
What was the civic club that they used at Hilton Head that had 4 points in that general session?
The Rotary.
The Rotary. Is anyone here a Rotary member? Well, they had, huh? You are?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what those 4 values are?
I just got it.
Put you on the spot. He put you on the spot.
I apologize for calling that. But they have like 4 values, and they have simplified the process so that every member ought to know whenever you talk to them what those values are. And I think that's where I'm not anti what we've got on the paper. I'm just thinking our value system needs to be something we can grab, put our hands on. Our mission should be something we all know. Our value statement should be something we all, can you read it?
Service, fellowship, diversity, integrity.
Service,
Fellowship.
fellowship,
Diversity.
diversity,
Integrity.
integrity,
And leadership.
and leadership. Those are the values they pulled out. That's what I had in mind. And so I'm just asking us to pray about that and think about it. And I pray that nothing I've said is combative. I don't want it to be. Finally,
Mr. Chair, as far as 9.6, I'd like to recommend that we take that back to the policy committee
okay.
to relook at
Well,
that.
I was about to say, what I was about to say is, there is nothing that presents you as a board member for writing a policy opposite to the one that you disagree with and submit for consideration for the board. No, it just doesn't seem fair to me to put all of that on the committee, because they're working hard doing what they are. So say, hey, I think this is a better way, this is a better clause. Then write it up and then submit it to them and let them make it as a part of their report next time. Can we agree on that policy, on that procedure, not it's a policy?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. Madam Chair, is that all right with you?
I just want clarification on the expectation, please.
Okay,
Clarify the expectation. I know what the adjustments that we've discussed and that need to be made to the ones that are before you.
right,
Okay, I understand that.
right.
But as far as moving forward, what are you
Moving,
saying?
moving forward, either we are going to adopt exactly what you have presented, or we are going to adopt some different language in certain sections. And we just need to know what that different language is so that we have the opportunity to make a decision between the two.
Okay, we will, the policy committee moving forward, if I understand your request, will present our recommended language.
Now,
And if there's-
you have presented your language already,
Right.
right? If there's
I'm
any,
talking about moving forward.
if there's anything here you want to reconsider,
Oh, yes, I'm making notes on everything
yeah,
that's
you can do that.
part of the discussion,
You
yes.
can do that because this is first reading.
Right.
And we can change it until we get to
Right,
the
exactly.
third and final reading.
Exactly.
And what I'm saying is, any of us who differ with any of the language on a particular article or section can simply write it as they think it and present it to you to be a part of your committee's report. where
That
we
would be
can
most helpful.
Put the two side by side and make a decision about it.
Mr. Chair, if I-
That would be helpful.
Yes,
I
sir.
can clarify a little bit. The general purpose of committee formations and committee business is to look at massage policies in this case, and submit recommended policies to the full board. The full board then reviews those policies and gets to the point where recommended changes are added, subtracted, and then it goes into typically first, second reading. It ends up becoming an updated policy. So the real purpose of the policy committee is to take an initial look at recommended policy changes, be they from you all as individuals or SCSBA, and then have discussion about in a work session like format And then at that point, the recommendation is made to the full board, because the committee in itself cannot enact policy, and the law has got to come before the full board, at which time there is discussion, revisions, and then a recommendation for approval. That's kind of the way that process works.
Right, and that's what.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, that's
sir.
what
Yes,
this
ma'am.
was the recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. There you go.
For discussion, and there are numerous policies that are coming before the next work session.
Got a bunch of them. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that we went through, that there were several that we said this needs to go to the board at a work session for discussion purposes.
Okay.
So, yes,
Just want to offer that point of clarification.
yes, thank you.
So as far as 9.6,
9.6.
motion was made and seconded, and voted on.
Yes, that is correct.
Did we vote on that?
There's a motion and a second and discussion, and now there has to be a vote. Unless there is a motion to table.
You talking about on your, oh yeah, we were at the point of discussion. We were at the
Yes.
point of discussion. All right. All right. All right, all if there's no further discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could, I would make a motion, against my own motion, to table these policies until they can be amended according to discussion and brought back to the committee during a work session.
Second.
And I second that.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, all right.
That's an amendment.
So there's a substitute motion. Substitute motion that, that the report be tabled for further discussion in the work session. Okay, all right. And it was supported? Did I
right
hear
here.
support? All right. All right. Is there any, well, it's not debatable.
Yeah, it's not debatable.
Vote your conviction.
To table it.
All right. The vote is unanimous and the motion passes. All right? Thank you. Now, Mac, were you implying that we did not vote 9.6?
No, sir.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's what we just did.
Okay, all right. So with item 10, consent agenda?
9-7.
No, 9/7/98.
Now, wait a minute.
9.7, 9.8. You want me to assist you?
Where is that? Okay, oh no, I'll just go. Okay, all
I
right.
have that.
9.7,
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the first reading of policy GCLE and GCLER, unencumbered time for teachers.
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
motion and supported. All in favor will indicate by voting your conviction.
Mr. Chair.
Is there a discussion on just this point? I just had a question on it.
All right?
The question is, and this is more
For the superintendent, because it is going to be a law, but if you read in there, about staff shortage, if there's a staff shortage, are you, principals gonna be using that as a loophole, to avoid the 30-minute, break time anytime that they please? That's my concern about that.
I wouldn't necessarily use the term loophole. I mean, I don't think we're going to use it as a loophole. It is this policy as it is written, because of the fact that it's an unfunded mandate and because of teacher shortages, it's going to be difficult to implement at best. That's probably the kindest language I'm going to say. However, because it is an adopted policy across the state of South Carolina, we're going to do all that we can to implement it. So the answer is it's going to be very tough to implement fully every day for every teacher, but we're going to do the best we can because we're already fighting severe teacher shortages in our district. But yes, sir, we're not going to use teacher shortages as an excuse not to implement the policy.
Okay. I just want to make sure we have control over that.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, I would like to extend on that question. If you read further down into the policy, it does state what options what punitive actions can be taken in regards to a principal or someone not following this and allowing that unencumbered 30 minutes. So there is, if you read down further, you will see language in there that does put some teeth into the policy.
I do. I seen that part, but still, it goes back to that, is anybody can say, okay, I'm trying, but you're not trying hard enough. So.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, to the vote, please. All right, the vote is unanimous. It passes. 9.8, individual student matter.
Mr. Chair. I motion for individual student matters transfers into and out of the district.
Second.
Supported. All right. Is there any discussion? Discussion once, twice, 3 times. May we proceed to the vote? All right, it's unanimous. While we do not have to take a vote on item 10, 10 o'clock at night, I think we're all ready to go home. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the hard work you've done this evening. And let's continue to pray for our district and for our children. The session is adjourned. Good night.